Hello and welcome back to my channel, everyone. It's almost exactly a week after I filmed my first video, which was me getting to the Ivies, plus Stanford, which I got back in December. If you're subscribed here, thank you so much for subscribing. I honestly didn't think I was gonna get any subscribers. I thought I was gonna have one subscriber, my mom. So thanks for wanting to join me on this journey. I'm really excited to share my college life and scholarship tips, application tips, and everything that I can with you guys. If you're new here and you're interested in learning about that stuff, then you are welcome to join. I would love to have you here on this channel. But other than that, let's get into things. I did realize, so I'm filming this after, that during the video I don't look into the camera very much. That is because I'm reading off of my iPad so I can remember all the points that I wanted to make for you guys. If you have any other questions or any video ideas, things that you want to learn about, then please comment below. Also, if you want to ask me other questions, college-related questions, you can find me on Instagram at MagicMackey. This video is going to be covering kind of my high school career, what I think made it so I got into those schools, stats, and extracurriculars. All right, so back to the schools that I did apply to. I applied to Colorado School of Mines, University of Colorado Boulder, University of Denver, Colorado State University, University of Southern California, Washington University in St. Louis, Stanford University, Santa Clara University, Rice University, Harvard University, University of Pennsylvania, Columbia, Princeton, and Swarthmore. And I did get into one college I did not apply for, so I got into 15 out of 14 colleges I applied for. Wow. Thank you, Co-College. They also gave me a half tuition scholarship. They seem like lovely people. Unfortunately, I will not be attending their university. To get started, first, I'm going to start off by making a disclaimer. There's no one right way to get into a school. There's no one right way to go through anything in your high school career. One of the special things about the universities that I got into was that they love people who have all different sorts of interests, all different sorts of skills, and the things that I did just represent what I enjoy. And I think a big thing that a lot of kids struggle with in high school is not being able to follow the path that they want to follow and do the things that they love. One of the reasons for that, I think, is because people are trying to fit the expectations of others and what other people tell them to do. And so one of my biggest recommendations of all is to follow your heart and follow the things that you love, because you'll do those things better than something you hate. All right, so before we get started, I just wanted to make that disclaimer, and I'm going to start going into it right now. Here is a general overview of me. My name is Makenna. I am from Colorado. I go to a charter school in Colorado. It's one of the highest ranked schools in our state. We do not rank students, so I do not have a class ranking to tell you about, but I know I'm in the top 10 of students, number 10, not 10%, probably a higher percent than that. I had a 4.0 all throughout high school. I took all AP and all honors classes, and I had a 4.8 weighted GPA. I also took 9 AP classes and 14 honors classes. AP and honors are basically interchangeable at my school, and it's really hard to get the classes that you request because it's a small school. So that meant that I wasn't able to take every AP, which is why I only took 9 throughout high school. Going on to testing, on the ACT, I got a 34. I got a 35 on English, 35 on science, 35 on the reading section, a 10 on the writing section, and a 29 on the math section. And I actually had an explanation for that. So the woman who proctored the second time I took it, she had never ever proctored an ACT test before, or an SAT test. So she misproctored it, never gave us a timer, and cut it off by 15 minutes. So we didn't have all the time that we needed, and I wasn't able to finish a lot of the questions on the test. So that score was actually from my practice test that I first took, literally my first exposure to the ACT. The equivalent SAT score is between a 1520 and a 1550. So it was a really good score. It was perfectly within range of all the colleges that I applied to. However, test scores are not everything. They will not get you into a college. They are a benchmark for colleges to evaluate you. There were 3 activities I would say made the biggest impact on my application. I made sure that I mentioned them in every application, not just in the extracurricular section, but well beyond that, either in a whole essay or just in elaboration. First one was starting the Black Student Union at my school. The second one was my academic research, and the third one was a campaign that I ran and organized my sophomore year. And so those were the three things that I said for myself mattered to me as a person and I wanted to express on my applications. All of those also had different aspects that were present in my application. So for the campaign that I ran, I had 2 news stories done on me for that. For the Black Student Union, I had some national awards that went with that, and also a story about how it took me a really long time to start. It took me 2 years to start, and I've been running it for 2 years. And then my academic research, I ended up being published, and I've been asked to evaluate PhD and graduate student papers since publication. So those were the things that stood out the most in my application, I feel like. They're also the things that I valued most, but they were definitely not the only things that I listed. I've actually done really a lot of things in high school. Not everybody has to do as many things as I've done. Not everybody does, and they still get into the same schools as me. A lot of people find their passion areas and they stick with that. My hook, I don't even like that word. I don't have a hook. That is my hook. I try everything because I enjoy the essence of learning and just exploring what the world has to offer. And that was really kind of the basis, the overarching theme of my application was that I love learning. I love learning through my research. I love learning through teaching others what I know. I love learning through literally everything that I do. And so that was the overall theme of every single one of my applications. I've written a lot of applications over my high school career. I've written probably over 100. And the one thing that I've learned is to express in every single place that I can why I love what I do. So starting in freshman year, I joined quite a few clubs. I did the Society of Women Engineers. I did Robotics Club to teach me how to code. I did Key Club, soccer, basketball, and track. My sophomore year, I joined a first robotics program called FTC at my school. I did Robotics Club once more. I did Key Club, Science National Honor Society, National Honor Society, basketball, track, soccer, softball, and started planning the BSU. I also ran my charitable campaign during that year. So sophomore year was one of my most booked years. I was busy about every single day, every single hour. I did not sleep. I don't recommend doing all of those things like that, where you get to the point where you're not sleeping well at night. It's not good. You can't focus in class. However, I still was able to keep my GPA that year and continue on junior year doing almost the same amount of things. So I was on the first robotics team again, except I was leading a physics-based simulator team. I started to run the robotics club this year. So the year before, it was kind of the robotics club. It wasn't really, it was like an in-school activity. So I worked to restart the robotics club with my tech teacher, and I ran that every single Sunday throughout the school year. I also officially started the Black Student Union and ran as its president that year, and I began planning the Computer Science Honor Society. Beyond that, I did SNHS again, Science National Honor Society, NHS, and I did research. So the research was at the University of Colorado. I worked at the computer science lab for 9 months, and I ended up getting published. My research is in a published journal, and that I think was a huge thing because I worked on it with graduate students, and I worked on it for a whole year, and so I participated in all the different aspects of our research, from actually programming the devices that we made to testing it on subjects, and being able to talk about that in my applications really added to why I love STEM and why I love education and learning. Oh, and even more beyond that, I was on 2 leadership committees, one for my county and another one for a national organization. I also did 2 different mentorships that year, one with Built by Girls and another one called STEM U with the New York Academy of Sciences. The Sciences? New York something, science. Again, I ran track, I did soccer, and I did Key Club. I dropped basketball and softball that year. Then, senior year, we get to senior year, which is this past year, I was president of the BSU, I was president of the CSHS, I ran track, so I do actually indoor and outdoor track, so track is a year-long sport for me. I am a part of Key Club, SNHS, NHS. What I forgot to mention earlier was that I started a charitable company. not a 501c3, charitable company. And I do a lot of things based in education. The campaign that I ran my sophomore year was under that name, and so is Project Illuminate, which is another thing that I did. So going on to scholarships, scholarships is another really important thing. Do not forget about them while you're applying to college because they come out at the exact same time. A lot of major scholarships come out in the month of October, November, and December, so make sure that you're watching out for those and that you're able and eligible to apply for them. I applied to a lot of scholarships and I have so far won a lot of scholarship money, almost $500,000. If you would like to learn more about the scholarships that I applied to and how I applied to them, comment below and say that you want to hear about scholarships. But on to awards that I've won. So in 2020, I did a program called Disney Dreamers, and that was, how do I explain Disney Dreamers? Coronavirus ruined Disney Dreamers, basically. It was going to be such an awesome program. Steve Harvey was going to be there. Disney hosts it. They pay for everything, and they fly you out to Disney World. Unfortunately, Rona came literally when we were at Disney World, and they had to cancel the program while we were there during the welcome ceremony. So it was really sad. But moving on from stuff that I got in 2020, 2019, I had one international award, which was my publication. It was also presented at a conference. I also had 6 national awards, all of which are computer science related, except for one which had to do with the BSU. I also had 4 state awards, 3 of which are computer science related, and 1 is for my writing. Oh, and back to 2020, I won a bunch of scholastic awards for my writing and art, which is just another hobby that I have. I won a regional award, Prudential Regional Award, and then in 2018, I had 2 state awards that were computer science related, and 1 state award that was also community service based, and then I had 2 news features, and then in 2017, I had 1 STEM award. STEM awards that I've won the most frequently are from NCWIT, the National Center for Women in Information Technology. It's a wonderful organization, a wonderful group of women, and I have won from the lowest, or what used to be the lowest state award, the runner-up, all the way to their highest award, the national award. And the national banquet is super cool. They fly you out to North Carolina, you stay in the Ritz, and they give you a very nice computer to go with it. I also ended up meeting Pink in the lobby of our hotel, which was pretty cool. So that's an overview of the awards that I won. Again, awards are not everything. They're not essential to an application. Awards are not necessary to get into any of the schools that I got into. They were on my application. I used every single space to list them, plus extra awards in the additional information section. Elaborating on that, use every single section that you are given on the application. You have 650 words in the additional information section. You can literally write another essay if you want to, but use those 650 words. If you feel like there's a place where something about you is absent, use those words because it will benefit you. I used all 650 words. I elaborated on the activities that I wasn't able to list in the activities section. I talked about what happened during my testing. You can use that section for anything that you want to, and make sure that you do, because it will make your application more complete and it will give them a more holistic overview of who you are. Remember that when the Common App comes out, to use that section. It's a little bit hidden, but you'll find it. But what I think is really important throughout the process is making sure that you're applying to not only colleges that you love, but colleges with a range of acceptances that you love. Because you can love Stanford as much as you want, and I love Stanford so much, but I didn't know if I was going to get into Stanford, so I made sure that I applied to in-state schools like Colorado State University and CU Boulder, because I knew that those were schools that I was more likely to get into, and if all else failed, that I had a school to attend that I really liked. So make sure that you pick schools that you like with a wide range of acceptances, because the acceptances of schools like Stanford and Harvard are incredibly, incredibly, incredibly low. And even though I got into them, I'm still stating this because I can't believe I got into them, and there was a 96% chance that I was not going to get accepted into that university. And the way to up your acceptance, of course, is by writing a really, really thorough application and making sure that you display the best self that you can. But again, it's all up to chance. There's so many people who are qualified that apply and do not get in, and so you need to make sure that you have a wide range of schools that you apply to that you would enjoy attending. One of the things that I really benefited from was making sure that I was able to visit those schools. If you can't afford to visit schools, there are programs called fly-ins that a lot of schools host. An example of this is called Disco SWAT, Discover Swarthmore. I attended that, and it gives you the chance to visit a school for like 3 or so days. They host you on campus, they pay for your flights, and you get to experience what it's like to be a student on their campus. You live with the students, you eat with the students, and you go to classes. And so those are amazing opportunities to make sure that you're able to go out and visit a school. If you can't afford to go to the schools, there's tons of open houses that they host throughout the year where you're able to go and look at the different departments and meet faculty members, sit in on classes as well. There's tons of opportunities that schools give to students to make sure that they know what their schools offer. And so I think it's incredibly important for students to really research the schools that they're going to apply to. So I completely forgot to do an outro when I was filming, but I wanted to make sure that I said thank you to everybody who watched this video. I hope it was helpful in some manner to you guys. If you still have any questions, you can leave them below in the comments, or you can DM me on Instagram. I try my best to answer as many questions as I can. But thank you all for watching. Again, thanks, and I hope it was helpful.